goat milk only.
It's goat cheese.
And I'm on the goats.
I fed the goat.
For the goat cheese that I make for a living.
Goat is gone?
I would love a goat milk caramel latte.
This case is not about keeping goats.
I love animals. I've learned most of the biggest spiritual lessons from animals. We've covered a lot of species on this channel, but this video is about goats and all the things we can learn from goats. What makes goat milk the goat of milk? If you've clicked on this video because you've considered getting a goat as a pet or livestock, hang around to the end to find out how much they'll run you back. Goats were one of the first animals ever domesticated, over 9,000 years ago in Asia. Goats are the most interesting because we co-evolved together. We learned from their instincts while they learned from our humanity. I gather that your head itches and your eyeballs and your one horn. Wanderlust Flight and I started our goat journey by visiting Jollity Farms, just outside of Tahoe, and speaking to Charlie, the owner.
This is Jollity Farm. My name is Charlie Cornell. Started it in 2011. My favorite thing to do is to go just sit with them. Sit out in the field and sit down and say hey.
And they're very friendly and, you know, not afraid to...
Some of them are. Some of them are jerks. More people drinking goat's milk in the world than there are cow milk. So cow milk drinkers.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
They can cross pretty much any terrain, live on the side of a mountain.
Yeah,
they don't take as much food.
Yeah, much more efficient.
In spending time with them, we felt a sense of understanding, camaraderie, and connectedness that we might not feel as strongly with a raccoon.
The main difference between cow and goat milk is the size of the fat particles in goat milk are much smaller, and that's why people can digest the lactose that's in goat milk versus cow milk, is the size of the fat molecules. Commercially produced milk that you find in the grocery store, it's taken to like 180 degrees or 165 degrees for 12 seconds. And that's what shatters the enzymes and the proteins. Even if you pasteurize it, if you're doing it at 145 for 30 minutes, you're not damaging it. It's not the pasteurization, it's the homogenization that's really gonna cause allergies in people.
Think for a second how useful these guys would be for survival. They're like a full refrigerator that requires zero power to run, that can climb trees and clear weeds out of your yard while they do it. Anyway, let's try some of that delicious goat milk we got. What makes goat milk the goat of milk?
The benefit of the goat milk is that it's way easier to digest. It also has iron and copper in there, which help with absorption limitations that are typical in a lot of foods, especially in milk. Plus, it's just creamy and delicious.
Goat to know. Do you think there's something to the experience of drinking the milk of a goat that you know personally?
I think it's basically taking locally sourced to the next level. I mean, have you ever had your own garden and grown your own tomatoes? They just taste so much sweeter. Anything that you have a personal relationship, especially in the food world, is gonna bring a different type of warmth and flavor. So yeah, I think there is definitely a benefit to knowing the goat that you got the milk from.
Oh, it tastes like rice pudding and flan. I had a love child in Bolivia, overseen by goats.
Today we're going to be doing goat yoga in a little bit of rain, which makes it so much more fun and refreshing.
How often do you see goats in a park in LA 14 times a week?
My name's Michelle Truden. I'm with Hello Critter Care, and I've had goats since the 80s. Started practicing yoga in the 90s. Yeah, they're very social. They're empathetic. If I feel sad, they know it, and they will go as far as to put their hoof on my shoulder. They're tuned into humans because they were domesticated right after dogs more than 10,000 years ago.
They jump, they crowd, they rumble.
They have no boundaries whatsoever.
Meet Michelle Triton of Hello Critter in Los Angeles.
Do you think it would be a good idea to have a goat?
It depends. If you're set up for it, then I do think so. You need to have 2 goats, so you shouldn't have just one. They need each other. You need to have a pretty indestructible space. They will try to eat everything and knock everything over and rub up against everything. You've got to have things for them to climb on. They need a lot of enrichment.
We were the first studio in LA to start doing goat yoga. My brother owns Laughing Frog Yoga, and a goat wrangler got in touch with him, and at first he was like, I don't know, that sounds weird. And then I think maybe a few weeks later she got in touch with him again, and he was like, you know what, let's give it a try.
We promise to tell you how much a goat costs. With all the benefits we just described, cost between $75 and $200, which is insanely low.
They're highly intelligent, so they need things to engage with.
It's like having a really, really smart dog.
They're very smart, yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. What do you all think? If you want more life hacks about living the good life, subscribe and like. And we'll be back with more videos.